Called the stage Various from Various and Gold. Sorry, Gold.
Gold,
from
yeah.
Various and Gold. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. I will put this here.
So just here in the middle.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, hi everyone. As Anna already told, my artist name is Gould. I'm one half of the artist duo Various and Gould. And yeah, today, as you told already about endurance, the topic, the theme of the month, we had to think of two sentences we used over the past years: everlasting multitasking and permanently improvised. And though there is the everlasting and the permanently is some sort of endurance, I think it says already there's a little twist to it. Yeah, because somehow when I think of endurance, I think of a long road and someone is running or something like that and is aiming, is going there to finally get there where the person is aiming to. And yeah, in our artistic practice, we noticed probably we have some kind of endurance, but it's with us it's a zigzag. It's not a straight line. We are starting to go somewhere, and it's sort of a quest, and it's a search. Yeah, so the title of the talk could rather be A Mural in Danger, but I didn't want to have this adventure style, or it's also a sort of an unpleasant topic, but it's, so to say, the main topic, and I think the reason you asked us is because recently a mural of ours was in danger of being painted over by an advertisement agency, and I will come to that. But before I go there, first I want to show you a bit of our creative process of the longest series we've been working on, like our longest artistic examination. And so, yeah, here it is, our series called Identikit, and we started it in 2007, 2008, and it was due by the time we were still studying at the Weißensee School of Arts in the Department of Visual Communication. And our professor took us to Paris, the whole course, and we went to a newly opened museum for the history of migration in Paris. It was by the political times of Sarkozy. And this whole building was is suited in a very colonial building. There's like a big sculptural stuff and paintings inside. Is like yeah, you can really see it's from a certain time, and it says like France is bringing so much good to everywhere in the world and is getting so much, and in there is this museum on the migration, on the history of migration, and this was very to my partner and me, it was and to the whole course, we got a lot of input. Yeah, and also by the time I also noticed that I'm as a white male, I'm very privileged, and there were a lot of things. Yeah, I didn't have to face many obstacles in my life, and so getting there and having a lot of this input, it was yeah, it was somehow intense. And my partner and I, we thought of how do we deal with this topic, because usually we thought I'm talking about migration, about stereotypes, about it's a social question how to as a society, and we had the feeling that maybe being an artist is not the right way. We should be social workers or something like that. But nevertheless, our only expertise is making art, and so we started our first series together, Identikit, and so we made big portraits of famous people who have a migration history in their family, and we had another layer of words. And we started with French and German people. Later we also had some American people. And I will just show you, I won't explain these pieces, I will just show them to you. But what you see here is always the back side and the front side. So we made these posters there's face on the one side and words on the other side. And when we cut them apart and rearrange them, we work on, for example, on the front, and then the backside turns out to be something totally different, and sometimes the backside is much better because it was created unintentionally. And so this series is about stereotypes and also about complexity of identities. And we try, while doing this, you also work with your own, the stereotypes you have in your head, and it also evokes maybe stereotypes for the viewers. And here, for example, in Paris, we brought these to the street. And now I'm coming to another series. This is a series our mural is part of. It's called FaceTime. And here from 2015 on, we started a different approach, a more organic approach. It's still patchwork identities. It's still collage. It's again made of various faces. But this time there are no words, and it's more like yeah, it's still like maybe like these old Identikit pictures, but this time it's yeah, we want to question like beauty standards and also questions of gender, and so they have a similar size like the Identikits, and we also brought them to the streets in Paris and Hamburg. And also painted them on canvases. And in 2015 we were contacted by architects who were building a new house on Heinrich-Heine-Straße here in Berlin, and they asked us to make whether we would like to make a painting there. And so by that time, luckily, we were ready, because for many years we weren't ready to do a mural with our style. We have a lot of these halftone dots, and but at that time we jumped to it and we said, yes, we're gonna do it. And it was the biggest work so far. It was 350 square meters, and we painted it from a scaffolding. The scaffolding was there anyway, as the building was just constructed, and yeah, you see the scale, and a lot of friends helped us, and we needed to do a projection by night and to encircle all these dots. It was it was 3 weeks of work, and finally it came out like this. And by that time we weren't so much focusing on the Identikit anymore, but then in 2018 we were contacted by the author and journalist and curator Mohammed Amjahid, and he asked us, especially for this series of Identikit, whether we would like to join his project. He was curating for the Leipzig book fair. He was curating a panel place where a lot of discussions were being held during the day of the fair, and he asked us to make a new series of identikits, and we learned a lot of him, and we also saw that our previous series had a lot of mistakes before, because somehow we were focusing on people with migration history, but we thought we should look at the whole society, and we should look at people who are part of this discussion. For example, I don't know if you know this this dog here. It's like Alexander Gauland of the AfD, which was this right extremist party which we have in Germany since 2015, I think, and so we incorporated other people in there, and also we got rid of some other mistakes we made before. We in the first series we had some swear words, and we thought our series shouldn't have words of discrimination in it. Nowadays I would say it's totally clear, but by 2007-8 somehow we thought we need to incorporate it because these words are out there or something like that. But yeah, and together with Mohammed Amjahid, we talked about the series and we changed a lot. And these were the... Again, I'm not explaining these, I'm just showing them to you. And we also brought them to the streets again. Of course, you had the terroristic group, the NSU, revealing itself in the past years, and so of course Beate is also a name that it was crazy for some time. I guess only as a white person you can think that way. For when we started with the identikits for a couple of years, we thought, oh, maybe we don't need to talk. Somehow we had the feeling, oh, they are not gripping anymore. And then now, when you look at 2023 right now at the society, it's more than ever. You have the chancellor. You had like a CDU chancellor who said, "Wir schaffen das, we can make it," and now you have a chancellor who is saying we have to deport people on the Spiegel cover, and it's somehow it got even more intense nowadays. Here you see us in the studio last year working on new FaceTimes, and though this series also got a bit of a new spin. Before every head had 2 ears and 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth, and now they got a bit more dynamic, I think. Also, we work more with these halftone dots, and also something like this can be a face. Though it's maybe rather a landscape. And so this year we were asked by the Urban Nation Museum, which is just around the corner, to make another mural on the topic of FaceTime, or not on the topic, or from the FaceTime series, and in Spandau. And to kick it off, we had like a workshop, a youth workshop. We do a lot of youth workshops, and so it was quite naturally we did it there, and we showed them the concept of these FaceTimes, and they did their own FaceTime masks and faces. But also those kids who had permission by their parents and were wanted to, they could take pictures of each other. And those pictures, we received those and were permitted to use them for our sketch collage for the mural. So for our murals we always do collage sketches, and you see it on the right. And so the pieces are from these kids from the youth workshop in Spandau, right around the corner of the mural. And To also kick off this mural, we wrote this sentence, wir alle hier gehören zum Wir. All of us belong to the society or to the us. And it might be a very, it's a very simple message, but I think it's a message, maybe it's the most important message so far, which we have formulated as artists. And we want to work more with this sentence, because we have the feeling that in the society, it's a lot about people want to be seen, people are integral parts of the society, but are not giving the feeling that they are part of the society. They have to, when there's a new terroristic attack, you are being asked to position yourself to it. There's a lot. The structural racism in our community is pretty. It's all over, and so we have the feeling that a message like this should be heard more often. And with this mural, maybe you ask us, this message vanished again because it was a very last-minute idea of ours. In the future, we will deal different with this, but we used all these letters and the names to find as a grid to work on this wall. You know, sometimes people do a grid with a rectangular grid, but some people also do doodle grids, and you can paint on a wall whatever you like to, or you can write something, and then later on you find your way. And we worked with these first names from people from the youth center, from people on the streets who were shouting up their names, and we were writing it on the wall. And also this we want to follow up, because we saw that this had some magic. We couldn't change the plans to paint this face, but in the future I think there might be a face and the names next to it. So this is the result in Spandau, which we finished this summer, and right as we had finished it, like 2 weeks later, we got news that our first mural is in danger. So this is a new one. And this is a previous one, because the house is owned by various people. It's not one owner, but a group of owners. It's a so-called Baugruppe. And they were contacted by an advertisement agency, an agency for painted advertisements or out-of-home advertising. They were contacted and made already a deal with this agency, that the agency could paint on this wall. And and then this agency contacted us in early August and said, oh, hey, we are your biggest fans, and by the way, we got offered your wall to paint on it, and let's meet. We can give you some money or a different wall. And we were pretty puzzled, because there's always a tension in the public space between advertising and art, urban art. And of course, as every subculture, as every youth culture, of course, urban art also got very commercialized over the past decade. And as you see it every day, you get very used to these processes. You don't see them anymore. And also we asked a lot of friends, and some were like, oh no, they can't do that. And others again told like, oh well, at least they are contacting you and giving you money and another, or maybe another wall. And we had to make up our mind how to deal with it, because working in the public space, it's of course ephemerality is like the core of urban art, and it's not a mistake or an enemy, but it's one of the purest qualities. But then again, having an agency walking around and saying, oh, I'll buy this wall, we had the feeling that's not okay. And but then again, of course, we thought, oh, are we just some pitiful artists not letting go of their own creation or something like that? We had a lot of talks with a lot of people, and somehow we made our mind, no, we have to fight for this mural, also to fight for other murals in the city. And here you see us on the left in 2015 in the scaffolding, and then on the right in the past we didn't show our faces. Only over the last couple of years we started to show our faces, and so here we stand for our art, and we also started on social media. We were informing people about this, and without expecting it, we got a massive feedback from the community, and we are very thankful for that. A lot of people shared it. A lot of people said, "Hey, that's not okay, that this mural is in danger." And yeah, this was pretty new to us, and somehow maybe it was new to the agency. I don't know, because of course, the agency had. Earlier had told us that they could also take some legal steps if we talked too publicly about it or something, because we were talking to the people in the house. We also had a personal meeting with them. But yeah, we also, in 2023, we needed, as urban artists, go to a lawyer to ask what the situation is like. But we also saw that we don't want to fight the house. We don't want to fight the people in the house, because they are a diverse group of people, and some of them want to have our mural, some of them want to have the money from the agency, and it's not the poor people in the house wanting the money. It's very complex, the situation, but we didn't want to fight them. They are owning the house, but we had the feeling we need to fight the way the agency is doing this. So if in the future the house is saying we want to hire another artist to paint this house, we won't tell a word about it. It's their decision. But we wanted to stop this agency. This is still in. Yeah. Okay. And so there was like 1 week left after the personal meeting and after trying to find some ways with the agency. And so we looked for, is something happening there? Because to paint a mural, also an advertisement mural, you need a couple of days. And so the agency told they want to paint it for the marathon, the Berlin Marathon. And then in the last weeks, a couple of days before the marathon, a paste up of Eliud Kipchoge showed up on the wall. And we were thinking, oh, so is this maybe a first step of this agency? Because there were a lot of, naturally, as he's a famous sportsman, there are also a lot of logos on him and on the shoes and everything. But then we somehow contacted the people who did this, and they said, no, we are not part of a campaign, so this was a wrong lead. But in the end, luckily, maybe us visiting a lawyer, maybe us talking to journalists, maybe the articles, definitely the social media discussions, all of it helped in the end that the mural was saved somehow. We never got the message, okay, we won't do it. We just counted the days, and then at some point we had the feeling, okay, the marathon is on Sunday. They should have started by now if they want to do something. And so in the morning of the Sunday, we went there, and yeah, and we saw, we were quite relieved for the moment. And as we didn't receive any, let's say, official message or something that we won't do it or something like that, we thought also to have a small, more general clip. We have it in our Reels section on Instagram to talk about this topic for future, also for other murals. We talk about the dynamics there. You see, we created this clip with generative images from artificial intelligence, and so they are very glitchy, but we totally jumped into it. It was fun to do that for this clip. And you have like an agency receiving money, you have something like a public outrage. Also we heard of, because we were also calling out, not really calling out, but we were asking publicly, we were asking brands, sports brands, do you have something to do with that? And so after we heard from people from the agencies, oh, it came in our agency and a certain floor, and then it went all up. And then they had to check again, going down, whether they are somehow related to this matter. because sometimes maybe you buy packages of advertisement, and then in this package somewhere down there is also a budget for painted murals. Yeah, and so, oh sorry, I did this. And so I will read our main message from this clip. People love art, and because you want to profit from this love, you have your advertising painted on houses. But if you destroy existing art, people will no longer love your brand. This is a very simple main message of this clip. And so I'm coming here. I think it's the best way when talking about endurance and about zigzag creation of an art series to end with a marathon picture. And I want to thank you for listening to me, and I'm very keen to hear your questions.
Thank you very much, Ronald.